Hi Stampers, this is Karen Phillip. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I'm happy to show you this cool technique that we'll be making today. And this is the background that we'll be making, and it's strips background. So let's get started. This month we're featuring the Hydrangea Haven bundle, and this is the stamp set, and these are the dies that we will be using. These will be available in the 21-22 catalog as well. So to complete this project, we will be needing a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 inch white paper, or cardstock, not paper, cardstock, because that will give us our pieces in between. So if you wanted to do a different color in between, you could. Okay, I need this. So you will need 10 1/2 by 6-inch strips. I'm using the Hydrangea paper. It's Hydrangea Hill designer paper. I do this with all of my designer papers. I do cut a 1 3/4 inch square for each, 2 of them for each piece, one for one side, one for the other, and just glue them on the card piece that goes into is the backer of the designer paper. That way I can always see what I have in my stock of the paper, and it's in a 13-inch by 13-inch bag, and then it also folds the scraps very nicely as well. Just a little hint that I do. So with these strips, they are of course two-sided, so you can use whichever one you want, whichever side. For this, however, I wanted to use the green plaid part of it. There's some real pretty flowers on the other side, but the green plaid to sort of ground it so that you have it in 3 places, just sort of bring it together with the background. So we'll put some adhesive on the back of that. And then we will put it from the left corner, the corner of the point, so it will go up to the right side, so that the corner of this one also lines up. And then you'll push it down, and that's your first piece. It will extend over the back, and that's what you want. The next step is taking your strips, and you'll go about 2/3 the way down, and you will have a 1/4 inch from the edge here, or 1/8 of an inch from the edge here, and it's perpendicular. The piece will go perpendicular with this one. So you can see that it's perpendicular, so it puts this one on an angle. So this is an 1/8 of an inch here. Next, we'll do the next strip up. And again, you just want to vary the colors. And now here, the second one will go parallel with this one and perpendicular with this piece, all the way up. Try and do this quickly for you. Okay, now that we have these pieces on, you will take your paper snips, go on the back, and just trim these off. And you notice that I put the adhesive on the card itself rather than on the strip of paper. I did that intentionally so that you don't have too much adhesive on your strips. The only one you do that is for the first one because that one extends over, or that one's a full sheet, I mean. So now we're trimming this off, and now we're going to the next rows. Now I'm getting a little bit of adhesive on my scissors, and that's okay because I will clean these off when I'm finished with an alcohol pad. They work very nicely for that. Now the next set of rows will be going down this way. So again, you want to be now we'll be parallel with this, perpendicular with this one. We'll just be putting that next row here, and you'll be using the strips that you just took off. You want this piece to be straight because this has to be perpendicular with it. So any pieces that you've cut out may have an angle, but make sure that they're straight. Okay, now we'll trim those off. Again, if you trim from the back, it's easier to see. You could use a paper trimmer as well, but this is just as easy. Just have to get glue on your scissors somehow. Okay. Now the next row we'll be doing the same pattern, but we want to make sure that we do it not parallel. So what I'm trying to say here. So the next row will be one of these sideways rows, but you don't want it even here. So we're going down like a row right here. So again, we'll put our tape on the paper, on the cardstock. And you can see now that this is about a row down from the other. And now we'll just continue going up. Okay, now we will trim these off. And now we will do the bottom. I'm flipping it over so that it's easier for me to tape. And I got a little bit of tape on this one, so you can use your finger to rub it off, or you could use a eraser, these erasers that we used to have, or you could just take an embossing buddy and put it on the tape, and that will just make it so it's not sticky. So I'm just going down. Now this one will be parallel. Leaving our 1/8 inch pieces along the way. Now if you put your pieces closer together, then you will use more strips. It's okay, it's just using more strips. There we go. Now I will trim the last bunch. And we have our beautiful pattern. Now we will assemble the card. I used a 5.5 by 8.5 inch piece of Mossy Meadow. And now we'll just put this on the card. And this is kind of crooked, and that will drive me crazy. So I'm going to cut it. Let's give it a little trim here. Much easier. Much straighter too. There we go. Okay. And then you should have a strip left over, and you can put that on the inside of your card. So we just have a white piece, and we have a strip here we could use, and we'll just measure that up. Should be about 3 3/4 inch piece. We could just put that right on there. Probably should have done that on my silicone mat. There we go. Put that inside. I have pieces all over the place here. Okay. Now for the next part, we'll be adding our hydrangea and our leaf and our oval. So this is from the ovals. This is a stitched oval, however they are sold out and may reappear in another time, but right now they are sold out, unfortunately. This is from the Stitch Shapes. And I already have the leaf cut out. Here it is. And this is from the dies, this big die here, and it's just the outline of it, but I cut off the head of the flower just to get the bottom stems. Put that on. And now for the hydrangea flower itself, I have a piece of, just a little 2-inch piece of the velveteen paper, and we will cut that out with our machine here. And there's a die that's got a bunch of little bumpies on it, and those are the leaves of the flowers. This velveteen paper is really pretty cool. It's on the clearance rack, or the last chance rack, for $6, and It's one of those that got hidden in the catalog, I believe. So, but I found it in my stash and I thought, well, I'm going to use this because this is really cool. And it embosses nicely, it cuts nicely, so let's give it a shot. First time using this little machine. It is really handy for projects like this. Okay, then you just crank it through. And it folds up nicely, and just set it aside. Sticks well to the plastic. There we go. Oh, now my virgin little thing is scratched. It's always the worst the first time. Now we have a flat image, and I don't know if you can see that or not. You can see how it just is sort of blah. So I took the pickup tool brush, what is this called? Foam. And it's sort of spongy, but any piece of foam, you don't want it real stiff. And I took my pickup tool and I just pushed down in each of the little petals, but not in the, and you want to gently do it, otherwise you'll lose your little petals. But you don't want to poke out the little holes because then it'll show a white spot. I did try this on a stiffer, on the stiffer foam sheets that we have, and I use my stylus and it gives it a different look. It kind of makes it a, well, it embosses it sort of, it makes it a little curvier. It just doesn't pop up. But you can do this with regular cardstock as well, just to give it that dimension. And see, it's going pretty quickly. There. And now we have our puffed up hydrangea. Die away. And that we will put on the card with dimensionals. And of course I don't have any cut here, so we'll just, I use all of the scraps of it, of these dimensionals. So we will put them on the part that is not the petals. You just need a couple of them just to hold it on. Some people go dimensional crazy, and you can do it that way, but they're very sticky, so you don't really need to overkill it. Then you just put that on top, and then the sentiment is part of the stamp set, and it says, "You make me smile." And here it is. So I stamped it with Versamark, used the white embossing powder, and heated it up. And now I can just cut this out. And again, you want to make sure that you turn the paper, not the scissors, and you'll get a nice rounded edge. Took me a while to figure that out. Someone told me that, and something so basic, and this was just a few years ago, something so basic of cutting, you wouldn't think it would make a difference, but it does. And I have a little hole here, so I think I'm going to put my sentiment right over that hole. So I'm just going to glue this on one side and put a little dimensional on the bottom part so it doesn't just flop down. Like so. And then I will put a little linen thread bow. Here's my little bow I made. I make these for all of my class members. And you can use regular glue dots, but I really enjoy using these from the Paper Pumpkin. And I take off, they seem to hold better than the regular ones. So I just take it off of the sheet, put it on, take off the little release piece, and put it on. There we go. And now we have a beautiful card that you could send to anyone, and it does make you smile. So thanks for watching, and have a great day.